Hey, it's Salvador Briggman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified YouTube channel. And today we are talking about how do you set your Kickstarter goal, the funding portion of the Kickstarter dashboard. If you've been following some of the other videos I've been putting out there on YouTube, I'm going through this entire dashboard for you. So if you haven't yet, go and check out some of those other videos. Got a lot of great stuff on crowdfunding. Also have my podcast, Crowdfunding Demystified. I publish some of those episodes on YouTube here, as well as on Spotify and also on iTunes. Just search my name, Salvador Briggman. And also I got a great Instagram where I post kind of micro posts giving you tips and advice on crowdfunding. If you're tired of me droning on and on about these long videos, you might like my Instagram. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's coming up right after this. Okay, let us jump right into this. Let's talk about money. Let's talk about dinero, right? So I want to get into a little bit of setting your goal, but before we do, I just want to go through some of this functionality here. So this is a beta program right now that I'm recording this video. Things are always changing, obviously, with functionality when it comes to Kickstarter and other apps out there, Facebook, etc. So it might have changed at that point in time. But basically for now, if you want to, you can actually create a spreadsheet, which will help you create a detailed and a custom budget graphic, okay? So back in the old days in 2012, when I was first getting started in the industry, you had to do all this by hand. You know, you had to use Canva, and you had to make graphics, and you had to use Photoshop, Illustrator to put together a budget, and also Excel, obviously, which is one of the most fun tools ever, right? So if you want to do this, all you have to do is put in your email. This is my email. You can reach out to me if you want. If you have any questions, obviously, you can click Generate Spreadsheet. And in a few seconds, this is basically going to generate a spreadsheet on my Google Drive. And you can read here, you can basically build and track financial information. I would also recommend having your own spreadsheet as well, with a few different scenarios. What happens if you get funded? What happens if you get really well funded? What happens if you get really, really well funded, right? And how that kind of impacts your various, costs, and I would say your overall profitability. Right? So this is the spreadsheet. It is housed on your Google Drive. A lot of people don't even know about this, right? So you have here in the various, in the bottom here, funding goal, R&D, manufacturing, packaging, shipping, labor, all this kind of stuff. So this could be helpful for you as you are putting together your crowdfunding campaign. And like I said, a lot of people don't know about this. So one of the cool things about this is it allows you to get a little bit more exact here, right? You can go into your packaging, your shipping, etc., and make sure you fill out all of this information. Now, if you are not a numbers person, I am not a numbers person either, right? I have a project manager that works with me. And I would recommend, if you want help with figuring this out, you can always book a one-on-one coaching call with me. It can also, if you want to, if you give me a heads up, I can get my project manager to help a little bit. If we decide to go forward with your project and these kinds of things, we can get more nitty-gritty into the actual cost structure of your crowdfunding campaign. So first of all, I would recommend going there and basically completing this if you can. And when you do complete it, you really quickly just click it and it opens. You can refresh the graphic and it will begin to show that graphic here. So this is a beta program and something that is important to look at. Now, the other thing is your funding goal, right? So the funding goal is going to be informed, obviously, by some of the information that you have here with your project spreadsheet. So for example, if you don't have the ability to make the product and you end up raising and hitting your funding goal, well, you're kind of in a bind. You're in a sticky situation, right? So the reason why Kickstarter is an all or nothing fundraising platform, and I talk about this in my book, The Kickstarter Launch Formula, available on Amazon, Audible, etc. The reason why is so that you basically are going to deliver on your rewards. That's the way it's designed. This is why Indiegogo is, an other option. They have a different philosophy on this. But Kickstarter itself believes that a creator should raise money and basically fulfill their rewards, and their funding goal is kind of tied to that, right? So this is important because if you set a goal that is too low, which I know is the whole trend right now, right? If it's too low and you actually can't fulfill your rewards, that's going to be a problem, So most people that I meet, most entrepreneurs in the e-commerce space, are usually trying to raise money for validation, for traffic, for funding, for pre-orders, initial customer base, right? And also maybe to help with their tooling costs when it comes to creating an entire new product out of scratch. This YouTube video is sponsored by The Gadget Flow. The Gadget Flow reaches over 28 million people, and they've been around since 2012. They're Indiegogo and Kickstarter experts. They featured over 5,000 crowdfunding campaigns. If you have a tech or design campaign, it is a great platform to generate awareness and get backers. Check them out at thegadgetflow.com/submit and list your project today. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about, your taxes and also the calculator that is available here when it comes to your funding goal. Okay, so here you can read this text, and also if you click this, it's going to open up a blog post on Kickstarter. I actually don't find this guide to be super helpful. It is nice, and it's another resource, another thing, a tool in your arsenal. But if it was so useful, I would not exist, basically, because I'm an educator in this space. So there are some things I think that need to be explained a little bit better. But we're just going to say that we have a $10,000 budget, okay? And we're going to allocate, we'll just estimate about maybe 10%, we'll just say here. I'm really just drawing these numbers out of my head for taxes, right? And they obviously can't provide any advice on taxes. You got the Kickstarter fee, which is 5%. Processing fee is 5%. Suggested goal, if we had this, would be about $12,400, right? So I don't actually think that this is super helpful. I think there are more variables that you have to consider, but this can be a really good place to just start, essentially, of like, okay, this is what the budget's going to be. This is what the goal should be. This is what the taxes might be. You're going to have to think a little bit more deeply about this. I would actually recommend creating a spreadsheet that is a little bit closer to this project budget to find out what the estimated taxes might be. Now, here's a big asterisk. I am not an accountant. I'm not a lawyer. I'm a guy who's done campaigns and I have some experience in this industry, right? So my thought process behind this is that whatever your net profit is. So you have basically your sales, you have gross profit, which is your sales minus the cost of goods. After your gross profit, you then have operating expenses. Operating expenses are things like what you pay freelancers, employees, your own salary as a business owner, etc. After that, you have operating profit, right? So after operating expenses, you have operating profit. And then finally, after any other expenses and stuff, you have net profit. Net profit is really the bottom line, what you want to pay attention to. So net profit is essentially what you're going to have to pay taxes on. So let's just say you have a net profit of $10,000 after a $100,000 crowdfunding campaign. I'm just pulling out these numbers, right? Then you're going to have to pay taxes on the net profit, which would be $10K, right? Because the way that, at least in America, you're going to report your taxes is you're going to have your income, you're going to have your expenses, then you're going to have your profit, and we pay taxes based on the profit of the company. So it depends on your income bracket. Obviously, how much money you're making depends on the structure of the company. If you have an LLC versus an S Corp versus a C Corp, it depends on a lot of stuff, basically. But in ballpark figures, that's kind of how you're going to calculate your taxes. And it's going to be a percentage, essentially, of whatever your net profit is that you're going to want to set aside to pay quarterly estimated taxes, or however you do it, So this is just something to think about. I know this is a lot of information if you're just getting started, but I wanted to just kind of really quickly share this resource with you that not many people know about to put it together, that budget. And if you're not a numbers person and you want help with this, you can always reach out to me. That is a service that I provide when it comes to coaching, right? And in terms of other stuff, I would also recommend checking out some of the other links in the description. One of the things here when it comes to the project budget is fulfillment and shipping, right? Packaging, all that kind of stuff. What happens when you get it manufactured? You get all these products either delivered by air or shipping to you via water, and it comes on into America, and now it's like, where do you do it? Do you put it in your garage, right? Do you have it go into a fulfillment warehouse? One of the great partners of my YouTube channel is Fulfillrite, and they put together a free shipping checklist and guide for you, which you can download at the link down below, or just go to fulfillrite.com/checklist, and that's actually a free Kickstarter checklist. Let's actually check it out right here, fulfillrite.com/checklist right here. And this is basically a simple guide that you can download, and it's free. But it'll give you lots of tips and advice when it comes to doing that. So I would recommend checking this out. But I hope that helped you. It was a quick overview of this section, and we're going to get into the next sections in just a bit. Thank you for watching this video. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Give me a comment down below if you got a question or two. and I will see you next time.